keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
Wow. Okay. You guys couldn't hear any of that. So what's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brass Man Reptiles.
And I'm Robin. I'm creeping it real.
And we're trying to figure out what the heck is going on because my computer decided it wasn't going to play anything. So that's going to try to fix that. And yeah, so we're looking at a blank screen. That's cool. Anyway, Rob and I are together. We're in the same room. It's pretty wonderful. It's pretty awesome. We were just talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, thank you, Chris, in the chat. Let us know about sound.
There we go.
Because yeah, we can't see anything. So if you know the deal, guys, if you want to drop a super chat or whatever, feel free to do so. We'll highlight your comment. Hopefully it will pop up because we can't see. I don't know what's happening, but heck yeah. So basically today we're just catching up
We're doing
with
a
you guys.
one-on-one.
Yeah. So we're just gonna do some recaps on our 2022 seasons.
Boom.
Mostly Rob, because Rob hatched out really cool things.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll talk about the Herp Society and some other awesome things that are going on. So Rob,
Yeah.
you hatched out scrub pythons.
Finally, I done did it.
You done
And
did it.
This is my third year trying to breed them, and this year is the first year I've been to like just kind of control everything my own way. And yeah, I bred scrub pythons. Janet laid a nice clutch for me. It was 10 eggs, which was awesome. First time mom.
Hell yeah.
She's 8 years old, and so I'm trying to think of what even to talk about when it comes to this. I'm hyped about it, but like just pertinent information. Just like 10 eggs. I had a set of twins in one of the eggs, which is awesome. And then I had one baby that failed to pip. It had tried to slice through the egg, but wasn't able to, and it ended up drowning in the egg.
Sucks.
It sucks. I was trying to let everything happen naturally just because I really didn't want to, make any big errors, because the scrubs kind of have a decent sized window for when they typically hatch. It's usually anywhere from 70 to 90 days that they'll hatch out at. And they hatched on day 80, like on the dot, day 80. I woke up early in the morning, and at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I got up to go to the bathroom. I checked the incubator, and there's a little head out, and I was like, oh my God. I go wake Kristen up. I'm like, it's happening. Because for the weeks from day 70, I was waking up like 2-3 times a night to go check the incubator. I was just like so stressed.
Heck yeah.
And so typically for all the other clutches I do, when one pips, I'll go through and just make a little hole in each of the eggs. But I really just wanted to let everything happen naturally with this clutch. And so I didn't end up pipping them. And 2 days later, after the first one had pipped, 2 eggs had not pipped yet. And one of them, I felt it, and you could feel the baby moving around. And then the other one, you poke it and nothing was moving. It wasn't happening. And so I made a little manual pip in it, and the liquid that came out was clear and runny like water. And as soon as that happens,
yeah, it's usually no good.
That's no good. The baby inside is dead. So I saw that clear liquid come out, and I was like, well, this one's dead. So I opened it up a little bit more, touched it. It didn't move. And then I further inspected, went inside and looked at it, and it was not moving. I look on the outside of the egg, and there's little areas where you can see where it had tried to slice through it, made a little bit of a cut, but it didn't actually cut through the whole shell of the egg, which is unfortunate. But 10 eggs, 10 babies because of the twins.
Yep.
Average size for each baby was 59 grams, between 58 and 60 grams. So, they're big.
They're big.
Huge.
Yeah, that's a big baby.
And then the twins weigh in at 28 and 29 grams. So almost half of that. But the thing is, the twins, the egg that they were in, I had one egg.
That was the weird egg.
The weird egg.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought when it was laid, I thought that the egg just hadn't fully calcified because there was a ring, like one of those windows that you get sometimes.
Mhm.
And it was a ring around the middle of the egg. And I was like, crap, it didn't fully calcify. Come to find out, it was actually supposed to be 2 eggs that had separated, but it never ended up separating. So
There you go.
it was babies in an egg. And so, I'm bummed that one was stillborn. I definitely take it as a learning experience for me. But the twins not make up for it, but ends up with the same number of babies that I was expecting, 10 babies. And I'm going to go ahead and say it here. They're not for sale. They're not for sale. They are not for sale.
Rob,
I'm
are
not
they for
selling
sale?
any. I'm not selling any. I'm not selling any. These are all for me. I might have one that's getting traded for a different bloodline. But that's it. That's probably the only one that's going to be leaving. They're all going to be staying with me. These are Janet's babies. I've been raising Janet for 8 years. I got her when she was a little baby, and this has been a long time coming for me. And I've talked about this on the show before. I didn't really care if I bred, like if she never produced for me, I wouldn't be upset. I just really love my scrubs and I enjoy keeping them. So if they never bred, it's not that big of a deal to me. But I am super excited that it did happen. I'm really happy with the results. I can't wait for sheds to start happening so I can really start to see the patterning, because the male has a little bit more of a reduced pattern, and then Janet has got like a pretty heavy pattern.
It'll
But
be interesting to see those.
yeah. And then a couple of the babies have got these like spots all the way down, like tons of spots down the sides. And I'm like, oh, that's really kind of freaking cool. And then a couple have more reduced pattern and a couple look like they have decent patterns. So I'm really excited to see what they really look like, because they're red. Like when they're born, they're red. So it's kind of tough to see the pattern really well.
Yeah, they need to go through a couple sheds.
Yeah.
Super similar to like the West Papuan carpets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm hyped about that. That is the cake of my season. I had 100%. I don't want to say 100% success rate, but everything I bred this season reproduced for me. I got eggs. I hatched babies out. So I didn't pair anything that didn't reproduce for me this season, which is pretty cool and not very common.
Not common. Yeah, not common.
Sort of stuff happen. And then also conventional wisdom for scrubs is that you need to have them set up in an enclosure for 6 years and they can't have anything change and they have to be used to a routine. But for them to be able to reproduce for you. Granted, Janet is captive bred, so I'm starting at a little bit more of an advantage with her than with a wild caught animal. But I moved in November to a different part of the country than where I had been raising her. In December, or I think it was December, that I got a bigger enclosure for her. So she went from a 3-foot enclosure to a 4-foot enclosure. And just everything changed as I was leading up to my breeding season. And I introduced the male into her enclosure. I didn't do one of the tube systems like some people do, where they just like open the tube slot and the male can go back and forth as they want to. I just introduced the male when I knew there's been activity. I actually did test pairings, because the last 2 times that I've tried to breed scrubs, everyone is, there's not a lot of information as far as when to breed them or any of that sort of information. So I just kind of did experiments over the last 2 years of when I saw activity of them actually breeding. And January, February, March, I would do introductions, but no interest at all, like at all. You put them in the enclosure together and the male will sit on one side and the female will sit on the other side. No interest whatsoever. And then if I do pairings in April and March, all over each other, courting, all like nudging each other, like all the signs of breeding. And so I basically just come down to, I'm only going to pair in April and May
so
now,
like
because
breeders.
that's when they seem to be active. And then I paired them up a little bit later as well, because I was like not 100% sure. I was like 90% sure, but I was 100%. So I paired him a little bit later, and same thing, just not interested at all. When they're on, and when they're not interested at all. So that was really cool. And I'm glad that I can share this information, because I feel like a lot of people are super tight-lipped with breeding information, and I hate that. I want people to be successful, and I really want to see more. I like to see scrubs. Big congrats to Stephen Cush. He just hatched out a clutch of Barnecks.
Yes.
Super hyped about that. I think that as we go and more people are successful, it'll just be better for the animals that are coming into the hobby. And especially with some of these rare species. So I'm hyped about that. I'm over the moon. They haven't had their first sheds yet. I haven't even tried feeding them yet. I'm literally just kind of letting them chill, letting them, making sure that they're hydrated, make sure everything's healthy and everything's looking good. And I figure I'll get to all that sort of stuff when I get to it. But I'm hyped about that. That is the icing on my season. Last thing to hatch out. Janet's babies hatch out, and I unplug the incubator. It's over.
Yeah,
that's it. So I'm hyped about that. I couldn't be happier.
And you guys have no idea how challenging it was to not talk
say
about
it,
this.
yeah, to not say anything.
Because he sent me pictures right when Janet was on eggs.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god! Like we were both freaking out about it. And then it was like, okay, we can't say anything. Can't say anything.
Yep.
And then the baby's pipped, and he's like, don't say anything just yet. Not
Yep.
yet. We want
Not
to
yet.
make everything as it's coming out, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then it was just like, span the world.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome. Because, all the people were thrown for a loop when, like, the first day, after babies were hatching, like, the day you shared of her on eggs. And people were like, oh, congrats Rob, you got eggs.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then it's literally like 24 hours later, the baby.
There's babies here. And people were like, that was the fastest incubation. How did you do that?
Yeah, right. Exactly. from egg to hatching in 24 hours.
Hey,
Scrub
man,
pythons.
Talent. Just kidding. Yeah, I really didn't want to share that I even got eggs until I knew that babies were going to hatch out and that I was successful with at least hatching out babies. So I held back. I took pictures of, and I think I did video too of when I pulled the eggs. So I'll have that video just to document that sort of stuff, pulling the eggs. And I wanted to let her maternally incubate the eggs, and I left the eggs with her. I pulled 2 eggs because they were outside of her coils, and I left the rest of them with her. And I think that my room temperatures were just off, and it wasn't a good ambient temperature inside the enclosure. Because what she would do is she would be sitting on them, and then she would go up and bask and sit up there for, an hour or two, and then go back down to the eggs. And it just got to a point where she was spending too much time away from them, and I was like, it's just not worth risking not being able to hatch them out. So I pulled them after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something. And it's crazy because she laid the eggs on June 24th, which was what's it called, an astrological thing.
Yes.
There was 6 planets in alignment that day. Laid her egg on that day, and then the eggs hatched out on September 11th. 80
the
days.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So I'm pumped. I'm over the moon. I'm really glad that I hatched out scrubs, and man, I'm just excited to watch them grow because I just love these snakes so much, so much. And that was just the cake for my season. And then most everything's doing okay. That Borneo clutch has given me nothing but problems.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a pain in the butt. I only have like a couple that are eating consistently. I'm force feeding some, and yeah, it's been a pain. The blood python clutch, slamming frozen thought right out but they're also evil, like they just like want to murder you. You open up the tub and they're looking at you with hatred in their eyes. I can tell.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. They're really nice looking though.
Also sounds about right.
Yeah. So the bloods are doing great. The carb pythons are doing good. I got some of those posted up on Morph Market, and then the Borneos, I'm just like, they're either going to do well or they're not going to do well. So I'm just kind of not holding my breath on those, just kind of letting whatever happens. And so yeah, that's been my season. I'm pumped. I don't know if I'm going to do anything crazy for next season. I really don't want to get out ahead of myself. So I think I'll only try and do 1 or 2 pairings next season. I mean, I said that last season, but
yes, you did.
So, Jeremy, how's your season go? You just had stuff hatch out, or no? Was that Lenny?
That was Lenny. Yeah, well, Lenny and I, it's a joint project.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was cool. So Lenny and myself did a joint project with my friend Stephanie. Just had a clutch of triple het hypo G-stripe clowns.
Yeah.
So we're super excited about that. So looking forward to making some visuals in the future, many years in the future. But if you're in the ball python game at all, you definitely know that the game is really going towards multi-recessive stuff. After the last really 30 years of ball pythons has been stack as many incomplete dominant genes as possible and throw in a recessive if you can, but it's whatever. It's a race to make the coolest snake. And now that's shifted in the last 5 years, really, where people are like, no, we should try to play around with these recessives a lot more and then wedge some codoms in the mix. So we're working backwards while also pushing forward.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. Both Lenny and I have a bunch of like double het stuff that we're working on as well. Like we both got double head clown pied stuff that we're raising up, and yeah, there's some cool stuff going on with that. And he'll be doing some DG hypo stuff, and I'll be doing like axanthic clowns and true ghost shit. So yeah, so we both have a lot of holdbacks coming in our future.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so it's going to be cool. This year was we both moved
Yes.
right before the breeding season pretty much. So you had a more successful season than I did, because I had about 60 to 70% of my stuff that I paired actually went. But I'm still not complaining about that whatsoever after a massive move. Because it's not like we moved from New Hampshire to New York or something where the climate's fairly similar. There's
completely
pressures
different, everything.
Yeah, everything's totally different. We don't get the same barometric pressure drops, especially not as consistently. So we had a lot of variance to deal with this year, as well as learning the quirks of our own reptile rooms.
Yeah.
How it holds heat and humidity. So a lot of variables this year. So it was really great to both have very good seasons given all of that. Couple of really cool things though. So breeding Borneos for the first time,
boom,
was awesome. I was super stoked about that. Sadly, both of the Amazon pairings that happened this year, the one that I did with Hellboy and the one that I was doing a joint project with Brandon with Carnage, neither of those girls took. So we're super bummed about that. But there was visual locks, so they're able to breed. But boas will break your heart in that
time.
instance. They're definitely not super easy. So Brandon and I were just talking the other day, because we were like, man, now everybody's getting their Amazon litters are starting to drop. It's that time of year, and we're all like, we didn't get anything.
Bro, when I bred Amazons several years ago, I didn't get my litter until April. I got 2 litters in April, the end of April, beginning of May, and I was like, this is what is going on right now?
Well, that's why I've got my pinky finger crossed. Something might happen later, but yeah. So Carnage is now back here, settling in very well, and we'll get him reestablished back here. And then I've got at least 1 or 2 females that I'll be pairing him with going into next season. So I'm super stoked about that. Probably the highlights though, besides the Borneos, was doing 3 really cool world's first ball python combos, which anybody who follows me knows that of course I breed ball pythons. They're not the focus of my collection these days, but what I work with is the stuff that I just really like. So to do the black pastel Enchi hidden Jinwoma clown, that was the snake that I was after like the entire season, and I had 3 attempts at doing it, and it took until the last clutch to get it, and I was like freaking out as I was cutting that clutch, because I was like, I did 3, I think it was like a total of probably like 15 eggs or something between the 3 clutches, and missed on everything except on the last clutch. I got 1. So I'm super happy about that. So we did black pastel Enchi hidden Jinwoma clown and black pastel hidden Jinwoma clown. So as far as I know, both of those are world's firsts. So super happy with that. I got to show you those both, because they've shed and have eaten, and they're doing really, really well. I
still haven't seen Carnage either.
Oh, we got to show you Carnage too. So also did let's see if I can remember everything, because both of these have many genetics in them. Pastel Enchi Calico Orange Dream Yellow Belly Coral Glow Microscale Het Hypo. So yeah, there's a lot going on with that clutch.
Some would say too much.
Yeah. No. Just enough. But that was a really cool animal, and is now starting to, really eat consistently. It was a bit of a slow starter. And now as it's gaining some size, the colors are really starting to pop. So I was super happy with that. And then also did a Calico Orange Dream Enchi Inferno Hypo. So that's like a 9 gene male. So let's see. So Calico, Orange Dream, Pastel, Hidden Jinwoma, Yellow Belly, Granite, Hypo. I think that's everything.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a lot happening with that male, and I'm super stoked because I have some really great Het Hypo females and stuff that I'm raising up that are not hidden Jinwoma related. So I'll have a lot of potential to throw some some cool things in the future. Like I have that Mojave Enchi OD YB Calico het hypo female. So we throw a 9 gene male to a 6 gene female.
You get the everything bagel.
We get the everything bagel, the everything ball.
Hey.
The everything ball. But I am really excited for that stuff. So not many holdbacks, but a few, some powerful holdbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the season was overall pretty good. I can't complain. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. We've got probably twice as many ball pythons that'll be ready to go. Be doing some pure hypo Brettles pythons, which I'm very excited about because I totally messed it up this season.
I thought you were about to be drowning in Brettles pythons.
Yeah, me too. But luckily for me, and also not luckily, but I had gotten what was supposed to be a reverse trio of pure hypo Brettles pythons. This would be 2.1. So I had these 2 males, and I was like, oh, which one's the nicer of the 2 males? I'll just use that one, and the other one will just kind of be like backup if this one's lazy. And I paired that male with the female, the known female, and they would be like cuddled up with each other. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't ever expect to see carpets lock, because they usually are breeding at night or very early in the morning. But they were together, so that's all I cared about. I was like, okay, that's the best case. So cool, fine. And both of the females that I now know are females, because I never saw any locks, and then things dissipated. And when I started, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So I palpated everything, because now I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And I had the backup male that had nothing inside of it, and then the used male and the female both had massive follicles. And I was like, oh my god, I had an actual trio, not a reverse trio. What the heck is going on? So I tried to salvage it. I threw the male and it rotated, and it was just too late. It was too late. The females had already begun to reabsorb, and they just weren't having it. So I have a 1.2 of pure hypo Brettles pythons, which is cool, but I was also really bummed. But it also explained why my big Afors line normal, who I was also pairing with that hypo male, didn't produce
anything.
Yep, but was also on the same follicular cycle as the other girls. So that was cool. Was also vindicated on my Stonewash project this year, because last year I did het to het, and I only got 1 visual, and it had died in the egg.
Yeah, I remember that.
This year I did visual to het, and I got 4 visuals and 5 hets. So a few eggs went bad during incubation, but it was great to produce Brettles 2 years in a row after not doing it for so many years. I felt very accomplished with that. No scrub python, but it's pretty cool.
Hey man, Brettles is still cool.
So I'm excited for this coming season. Do Borneos again, different female, but we'll do Borneos again. Actually, I want to pick your brain on that, because I'm thinking about that VPI super stripe to the striped
Pepper?
ultra.
Oh.
Yeah, 7 peppers male to my big striped ultra. I think that could throw some cool stuff. So
hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so very excited about that. And in the midst of all of this, we've had some really cool trips this year.
Yeah, man. Hey, fucking dude, Daytona was the shit. I had a really good time at Daytona. Getting out to see people. I had them sign that flag and everything. That was awesome. And then doing a little bit of herping while I was down there. See a pygmy rattlesnake.
Buddy.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. I've been doing a little bit of herping here and there up by me. Not a ton, but just trying to get out there and see some stuff.
Meanwhile, anybody that follows Rob sees a herping post on Instagram every day.
Every day, almost. Listen,
I get out when I can.
My job is outside, so I spend most of my time outside walking around people's houses. So I see stuff on people's houses all the time. It's just not usually snakes. It's like 5-line skinks, anoles. I'll see worm snakes, sometimes DKs and stuff like that. But
Heck yeah.
Not like anything too
Too
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. And then one really cool thing that we did recently is Kristen and I went to this place that we like to go herping at. And we got there and it was raining a little bit. And I was like, man, I don't really want to get wet. I really just don't want to walk around with like wet shorts and wet t-shirt. And I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're already here. It was like a 20-minute drive. And I was like, I don't really want to walk.
Yeah.
And she's like, let's just do a quick, like maybe it'll let up and we'll just do a quick little thing. I was like, okay, cool. So we're walking, and it did eventually end up like letting up. The rain
That's good.
didn't keep going. And we found a queen snake like immediately. Like
That's cool.
first it goes down, the trail goes down to the water at this little river, and so flip a rock, boom, queen snake right there. And she loves queen snake, so I was like, boom, queen snake. The day's not
There you
wasted.
go.
We
Yep.
got it. It's cool. So we see the queen snake, and it's got like a big gash on it though, so we were like concerned. But we gently put it back and everything. And then we're walking and walking the trail and everything. And we get over to this opening area, and there's a big black rat snake shed there. And I was like, oh, damn, there's a rat snake shed. And I like pick it up, and it's still like soft. And I was like, oh, man, this thing must have just shed. We just missed it. And I was like, damn, I can't believe. So I'm like, I'm going to see if I can find this rat snake, because it was like a 4-foot shed. I was like, this is sweet. And so I'm walking around, and I did not see anything. I'm like, damn, that sucks, man. It should be right here. Like it was still soft. Like,
right.
So I take the shed, I put it between these two trees. I'm like, at least if other people come up here, they won't be scared. And Kristen's walking around, and she lifts up this little piece of bark, and she's like, I found it. It's right here. And I was like, no way. And she go over there. Boom. It's curled up. Like there was a big log, like, big log. I can't even think, maybe 2 foot across, like diameter, right?
Just a giant
log. And then there were some pieces of bark that had fallen below it. And so she had pulled one of the pieces of bark to the side, and it was curled up right underneath that piece of bark.
That's awesome.
And I was like, are you kidding me right now?
That's so awesome. Don't look at me, I'm naked.
Dude, she found it. I was so hyped. I was like, yes, this is awesome. So I like scooped it up, and he was chill. He didn't strike at me. He was just like, oh, damn, you got me.
You found me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. That was really cool. And we made a little TikTok with it. It was fun. We made a couple TikToks with it. That was fun.
I always like, whenever I'm feeling bad about not being able to get out and do any like real herping this year, I just go look at Rob's stories.
On Instagram,
I feel a little better. Yeah.
Whenever I find stuff, I'm like, picture. I like sharing that stuff, because I know not everyone gets a chance to go out, and
heck yeah,
I get hyped when I see other people's Instagram posts of them going field herping, like Reptile Jake. Oh
yes, yeah.
Dude, he's the Cerberus he finds, and all the lepidid, bro.
Yeah.
And then Chuck Poland and Justin Julander have been doing a bunch of herping recently, and all the lepidus they've been finding, bro.
Insane, dude.
My God, I am so like, I just get so envious. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was in Arizona finding
hell yeah, dude,
lepidus right now. And then they found Willardite too, and I was like, God damn, they're just finding all the cool stuff.
100%.
But I love seeing it. So like, if they can keep posting, that's awesome, because I'm living vicariously through them, because I wasn't able to make an Arizona trip happen this year, which I'm bummed about. But next year, hopefully, I'll actually be able to do that, because Kristen and I have been wanting to take just like a 10-day trip out to Arizona and do some herping. And
hell yeah.
She lived in Arizona for a while, so visit some of the people that she knows out there, and just spend some time out in nature. So
heck yeah, dude.
I need to.
And speaking of field herping. Speaking of field herping. So for those who live in the Carolinas
and are listening currently, either live or within the next 10 hours.
The Carolina Herp Society, we are having our September meeting at Congaree Creek Heritage Preserve down in South Carolina, and that's our last big herp trip. I think we might be able to get one more in before the year's over. But so if you're in the Carolinas, check out the Carolina Herpetological Society on Facebook. You can go to the events tab and find that. And you should also just go to that page anyway and like it, so you know what is going on and what upcoming meetings are going to be happening. I think next month's meeting, I was just talking with Lenny about it the other day, actually might get hosted here. We might have like an end of the year cookout kind of deal, have people over,
Yeah.
come hang with some snakes, do whatever. So more details are going to come about on that a little bit later. But the area that we're going to be at, we were there for the last meeting in July. We didn't have an August meeting. There's just too much going on. So the last time we were out there in July, it was just way too hot for when we got out there. So we didn't expect to find too much, but the environment, holy crap.
Earlier today, I was like, oh, man, I wonder what species, what division stuff we can
Oh,
find
yeah.
there. And I searched it, and I was like, there's 6 species of venomous snakes in South Carolina. And so I'm just looking at distribution maps, and I was like, oh, we can find 5 of the 6 species of venomous snakes
in this area.
Eastern Diamondbacks, they're like close. They're really close. But we can find timbers. We can find pygmy rattlesnakes. We can find coral snakes. We can find cottonmouths and copperheads.
Yes.
So you best believe I'm gonna find something. It's gonna happen.
Heck yeah. No, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. So yeah, because after we got pretty skunked, we didn't get totally skunked because we did find some cool things like some skinks and anoles and spiders and a lot of orb weavers, so many orb weavers, and then also our buddy Dave Rigoli let a black racer get away. So Rigoli's Reptiles. Shout out to you, bro. But yeah, he saw it, spooked it, and then like there was a 5-second gap between him realizing what was going on and then actually running after it, so it wasn't getting caught.
Dude, if the racer gets a jump on you,
you're done.
You're not catching.
Yeah, you're done.
You're just not.
Yeah, racers and coach whips. If you give them that 2-second window, they're gone.
Yeah,
they're already gone.
Dude, I that's one of my favorite things to post when it comes to field herping is when I catch a racer and I take the video of me putting it down on the ground, and you see it's real slow in my hand, and then the second that I let go of it, it's like poof, it's just gone. It doesn't even look real with how fast they move. It's so cool.
It's nuts.
An animal with no legs, and it's just like
gone. Yeah, exactly. So impressive. But yes, so super excited about that. So again, check out the Carolina Herpetological Society on Facebook. Go like that page. Check out the events tab. More details for next month's meeting if you can't make our meeting tomorrow. But if you can, do so. It's going to be great. Come hang out with us. It's going to be great. I think, sadly, Aubrey won't be down because he's at the Arlington show, which is fine. But you and I will be there.
Yep.
And then I think the entire representation for the South Carolina board will be there. So Nick Bettini.
Nick's going to be there?
I think Nick Bettini.
He just announced he's having a kid, bro.
I know.
I'm so hyped.
Nick Bettini, Josh Ortiz, and Alex Likely will be there as well. And then, so most of the board will be there, minus Aubrey. And then it sounds like a large number of people are going to show up. So I think we'll have at least 15 or 20 people for this trip, which will be good. And it's a great trail.
Listen, everybody, I am going to find things. No, I'm just kidding. We are going to see some stuff.
It's going to happen.
But I am going to try really hard to find something cool because the bar has been set high. I found an Eastern hognose at the last herping trip I went to. So the bar is really high.
It's very true. And we all said in July, we said the reason we didn't really find anything
because I wasn't there.
Rob wasn't there. Yeah. And so.
Well, me and Kristen, when me and Kristen are together, we find stuff. So like, I have a feeling we're going to see something cool. And then, I'm going to rest them real tonight so that I can scan everything.
Heck yeah, it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break and run our sponsor ad, and we'll be back in a couple minutes, guys.
Black Box Cages, located in Buford, Georgia, is your one-stop shop for all of your caging and rack needs. Owners Jen and Clint are at the helm of this fantastic company. With one of the shortest lead times in cage and rack manufacturing, Black Box can satisfy anyone's needs. From baby racks to V70s, arboreal and terrestrial caging to deep-fronted bioactive enclosures. You can find everything you need right here. New enclosure sizes and products are added frequently to their availability, so be sure to check back often. Black Box Cages have tons of customizing options for lighting and heating. Along with that, cages and racks can be stacked with metal stacking dowels, and all cage joints are dadoed for improved durability and stability. Most cage units are flat packed, but are pre-assembled prior to shipping to ensure a solid build every time. The Micro, XC18, XT3, Bio-G, and 3-stack V70 ship assembled, and all other racks are shipped freight and assembled. The XR16 and XR20 model racks allow keepers to mix and match tubs. Fitting both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, you can mix the V15, V18, and V35S tubs, or the FB5, FB8, and FB35CV-SC tubs. This kind of flexibility allows keepers to raise their animals from hatchling to juvenile or subadult size before needing to upgrade into adult caging. Don't just take our word for it. Go to their website to see countless customer reviews and review videos from keepers all over. To learn more about Black Box Cages, follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Black Box Cages, and of course their website, www.blackboxcages.com. Links to their socials and website will be available in the podcast description.
Boom. And now we have video.
Now we got
Look
video.
at that. So my computer has just trolled us really, really hard. But anyway, go check out Black Box Cages. They're always updating stuff. I think the last time we did a podcast episode, they had just launched some new updates to some of their cages, as far as like new door options, and some great stuff is going on over at Black Box. I still need to get over there. It's been so crazy. So whenever I'm down in Georgia, I've been down there a lot doing some studio work, doing some music work, and I keep saying how I'm going to get over to Black Box's shop to do a YouTube video, do some promo over there, and it's just been really challenging to make that happen. So hopefully in the very near future we can make that happen, because I've been to the shop, and it's awesome. It's a workshop to build cages, but it's awesome. And if you've never seen that before, it'd be really cool to get kind of an inside glimpse of what that looks like. So
yeah, and they just posted I think it was on their Instagram. They were asking what type of doors that people like on their enclosures, whether you like the sliding doors or whether you like the drop down or the swing out doors. And I was one of the only people that was like, I like the drop down doors. Everyone else is like, I like the sliding doors.
Sliding.
Dude, the thing is, I've been very disenchanted with sliding doors, dealing with large articulated pythons, because they just like push on either side and push up a little bit and push it out and break it. And it's like, no, please don't. So I will not do. I prefer not to do sliding glass doors on anything now.
Yeah, I do like drop down doors. All of my XT18s are swinging doors, which are fine. I mean, for Amazon, it's totally fine. I like that. But I do like drop down doors. I think
I just like them for the scrubs because they're less likely to grab it. Because the ones that swing out, if they get a coil over it, they're gonna like really muscle it, and I just see a scrub breaking it, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's totally
Bloods
fair.
and short tails, it wouldn't be a big deal because they're not gonna do anything. But like I when I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking about the scrubs, and I'm like, no. Flashbacks to no. I'm like,
right. Like, no. But yeah, so go check out Black Box Cages. All their links are in the video descriptions. Go show them some support and some love. And so Herp Society meeting, field herping, fun stuff.
Oh, I'm hyped.
But Tinley,
bruh,
Tinley is coming up.
It is. Actually, I don't even know if I'm gonna make Tinley. I've got.
Wait, what?
I know. I've got so much stuff going on, dude. We'll have to talk about it afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I really want to make it, but
Rob.
Yeah.
People are gonna be sad.
I know. I'll be sad.
Rob, I'm sad now.
Well, I'll see if I can make it work. But
okay.
I already asked for the time off, so if I'm not going, I'm gonna be sitting at home doing nothing.
Motherfucker. But yeah, so Tinley is coming up. Hopefully Rob shows up. But if not, I mean, it's still gonna happen. So
yeah, it's
so
still gonna go
happening
on,
regardless. But hopefully I need to send Brian Potter a message, because we had talked when we had Brian on the last one of the last episodes. We talked about maybe doing a live podcast from Tinley. So, which even if Rob doesn't show up, still might be able to do, and because I can bring you in remotely,
if
we need to, and then actually that would make life easier because I can just do it from my phone. And be a little more mobile. So, but I think that would be really cool. So I think we're going to do a live podcast episode from Tinley, which will be great just for those of you who can't make Tinley but want to know what Tinley's like, obviously you can check out YouTube videos, but why would you not want to jump onto a live stream and see it in real time?
True.
The only thing that I will tell you is if that happens, I cannot go. So when you walk into Tinley, if you go all the way to the right, where like the
Far from
smaller
the
area
routers,
is,
right?
yeah, and I always lose signal over there.
Yeah.
Like I can't even respond to texts when I'm over there. Like it's horrible. So I can show you 85% of the show, but that last 15%, you're gonna just have to use your imagination.
Oh, dude, you know what I'm gonna do? If I end up going, I'll get a live stream on TikTok because people can send you
Oh,
gifts,
that'd be cool.
and the people getting to check out Expo would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Also exciting about that is the US ARC auction.
Hell yeah.
So all the big shows, all the NARBCs and Daytona have the big US ARC auctions, which is where we do the massive pushes. Usually over $100,000 is what comes in through Tinley Park.
Yeah, Daytona was just shy of $100,000, which is awesome.
Yep. And while we're on and talking about US ARC, I want to send a shout out to my buddy Jay's Reptile Life on Instagram, who just did an Instagram live 24-hour challenge, getting locked in one of his outdoor enclosures to raise money for US ARC Florida. And in 24 hours raised just over $7,000 for US ARC Florida, which was huge. So shout out to you, Jay. That was freaking awesome. And we were able to get the real Tarzan came on for a little while. Kevin came on. Daniel and Elizabeth from US ARC Florida came on, and a handful of other people, Max and Kayla from Military Morphs, to help kind of put that together. So it was a massive effort to just get awareness out about US ARC Florida and what they're doing. And parallel to that, after this, I'll be jumping on an Instagram live tonight with US ARC Florida, as well as a handful of other guests, talking about the FWC recommendation to not allow the captive breeding of diamondback terrapins.
What?
Yeah, they suggested against it. It hasn't been voted on. The commissioners still need to make the final ruling, but FWC's recommendation was to not allow it. And of course, they're going with it would heighten the desire for poaching and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, like their habitat destruction is what's taking them out faster than anything else. So if you feel so inclined, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, what the heck is today? The 24th of September, we're going to be doing a live stream on the US ARC Florida Instagram. A whole bunch of different people are going to be jumping on to discuss this and kind of spread the word, and hopefully we can get enough of a push and get enough people invested in it that we can petition FWC to reconsider the recommendation before it gets voted on by the commissioners, because diamondback terrapins should get some strong captive breeding efforts. There are people that do work with them under like educational licenses and do breed them, but as far as making it a commercially viable thing, that's really what we're talking about, which could yield amazing potential for the species.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so as always, guys, shout out to US ARC Florida for everything that they do. So make sure you're following them, and we got to get Phil on again sometime soon. Georgia is dealing with their proposed tegu ban that also includes Burmese pythons and Indian pythons. And I've heard, I don't know how true it is, I heard that reticulated pythons are potentially going to be added to that as well. So please make sure you're following US ARC and US ARC Florida to stay in the know about what is going on. And I also want to get Gavin from Balls to You back on as well, so we can discuss some of because we touched on it a little bit when we had him on, but some more of the stuff that's going on in Europe. There's been some other changes that have happened in Europe regarding bans on certain species, entire species of animals. So stuff that we want to talk about and help spread the word on, of course. So that ends the serious part of the podcast.
Well, no, I think we should answer that question there too, for the vet checks, because
oh yes, okay. So
Tinley just announced like a week ago, they were like,
yes.
oh crap, they're requiring everybody to get a vet check before you come to Illinois.
If you're coming from out of state,
to do the expo, and everyone's like, what the hell? And it has to be like a certified vet, like like there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get it done.
Yeah, and it was per species. So the permit would be required per species, but the vet needs to look at every animal within
every
that species.
single animal.
So if you've only got one species of snake, maybe one table worth of a display, it's an annoying hoop, but not the end of the world. If you're bringing multiple species and a lot of animals, this becomes a fee that adds up very quickly. But thanks to
US Arc
there is now a vet that will be
on
site that can do those inspections, and I believe it is free of cost, or there's a small cost, if I remember correctly.
I heard that it was a small cost. I didn't hear exactly what the cost was.
Yeah. So, and it's important to point out too that this regulation, from my understanding, has been on the books.
Yeah, this just hasn't been enforced.
It's just never been enforced.
Yep.
So it makes me believe that maybe there's been a change of power, or somebody has been like, hey, this is a thing that happens and we're not, following through on that.
And the government going, where's my money?
Yeah, exactly. So, so shout out to US Arc yet again, for intervening in that and making it more
Easier,
convenient, than what it was. It's been on the books since 2007. And it's crazy to think that 15 years it's been on the books
and not enforced
and never enforced, and now it's randomly decided to be enforced. Your government at work, folks.
Yeah. Making your life better every day.
Yay!
Electrolytes is what the plants crave.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But yes, so always shout out to US Arc for getting involved and really helping, and making sure that we're also proactive on stuff as well. I had a conversation with Phil not that long ago about some other things, and we're really trying to push forward to be proactive in certain states where we're potentially hearing some buzz of some other things. So we're trying to intervene before things get out of hand. So
boom. Yeah, dude, kind of in tune with that, not exactly, but I was looking up what counties are pretty good for venomous stuff. And there's actually a county out by me that's pretty good for it. And I drive around for my work, so I'm driving around all these different towns all the time.
Yeah.
The town that I've been like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I love this town. I just really would like to live here.
Is that in that county?
It's in that county, like dead center of that county. I was like, okay,
Heck
so
I need a house.
This is where I'm probably gonna end up looking. So I'm pretty
Heck
hyped
yeah,
about
bro.
that. So
heck
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As long as they don't change their laws.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, again, that's just part of being proactive and being aware.
Yep.
So that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't happen.
And also making sure that you're using safe handling practices when you're working with dangerous animals.
Yes, exactly. Not being reckless.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything else.
We can leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tinley's coming up. That's the big thing for the end of the year. There's really no NARBC Arlington is happening this weekend.
To go to that at some point.
Me
I'm
too.
Not going this weekend, but
no, sadly no. The super shows. That's another one that we've been talking about trying to get to at some point. So maybe that's a 2023 thing, is to get into one of the super shows, because I would like to do that.
I saw Dan Mallory was back at those, and I was like, "Am I alone?"
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So that one could be pretty sweet. I heard from Dan Rowe, our buddy Dan Rowe, who was at I think it was Pomona, the one that was the weekend before Daytona. He went to both because he just has it that, but he was like, man, the aisles, they're so big, people can just drive their cars right up to the tables and unload. And I was like, oh man, I wish.
Could you imagine?
That'd be so amazing. I was literally like, now I'm very spiteful to all of the vendors for the super show who get to drive their car up
to
unload, man.
I just think about all the carbon monoxide that's in there.
It's minor. It's a minor inconvenience. In 30 years, we'll talk about the mesothelioma or whatever is happening at that point in time.
You were a loved one suffering from mesothelioma.
Do you breed reptiles?
Diabetes.
You were a loved one breeds reptiles. Have you gone to the super shows?
Pomona? Bruh.
You may be entitled to legal compensation.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, too much.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, so we've had our solid seasons this year, and I feel like kind of late seasons as well, like stuff hatching in
My
late
scrubs
September,
were late, but I think everything else is kind of
on
beat
par.
for me. Yeah.
So it was Lenny and I were talking the other day, and we're just kind of like, man, breeding season's
October is here.
right
like,
here, man. Like we're about to get right back into
thank
it
you.
all, man. It's pretty crazy. So are there? I know you said you weren't probably going to have a huge season coming up this year. Is there one thing that you're like, I want to do that this year?
Dude, after seeing Dan Magano's side swipe to skunk trait stuff, I was like, what? Why have I never? Like,
yeah.
So I'm probably gonna try and do a pairing of that.
Heck yeah.
I have 2 big skunk females, so
Hell yeah.
I'll probably be trying to do that. Yeah, I think that's like I don't know. When I think of like that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, but I don't know.
Heck yeah.
And then I don't really think I'm trying to. I might try and breed that jungle jag again, but I don't know. She's eating. She looks great. Like I'm just like so disheartened. So many slugs. So many slugs.
Yeah.
The babies that came out were awesome. They're nice, but so many slugs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's not all wonderful. It's not all world's firsts.
True. I didn't hatch out any world's firsts this year.
You want one of mine?
I mean, I guess no, none of my stuff was world's first.
That's okay.
Actually, I lied. The side swipe granites were the world's first.
Technically, those are world's first. It's true. No big deal. You know what? Next year's Borneo clutches, world's first.
Yeah, everything that hatches out.
Everything is
all my skunk stuff from last year. All world's first.
World's first. Yeah. Rob's been killing the game. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think for me it's really just the Amazons. Like really going hard on the Amazons this year. I was bummed that we didn't get one of the 2 pairings to go. I mean, who knows? It could still happen if one of them just decides to go really late. But yeah, so that's where a lot of my focus is going to be for the 2023 season. Yeah, and then just the striped ultra female who's like primed and ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the potential for that. I'm not excited for the amount of eggs that she's probably going to have, though, because my super stripe girl is notably smaller and had like 19 eggs. So this girl is very large, and I think we're going to break.
38.
Oh, God, no.
Just send some in my house.
I mean, yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that. Because, man, the last thing I want to be doing is drowning in Borneos. I was almost drowning in Brettles. I don't want to be drowning in Borneos.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair.
Too many babies.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to our buddy RJ,
Hell yeah.
Python Designs NJ, RJ and Andrew. I went out there the other weekend and I was posting some stuff on my Instagram story over there. He's got some really cool ball pythons, but just want to give him a shout out because he's got some really cool stuff that he hasn't been showing off much to the public yet, but is coming out soon. So I would encourage all of you guys to go check out Python Designs NJ on Instagram and see some of the cool stuff that they're hatching out there. They've got some cool red stripe combos that were hatching as I was preparing to leave, of course. Yeah, some really cool stuff and some proving out some new genes that have been floating around. I was just showing Rob one of them before we started, and there's some cool stuff.
It was nice.
So go check that out. But yeah, I went over there and RJ was basically like, just show up, just come here, just show up, and just be ready to chill. Which, if you guys follow me, you know I don't ever really chill.
Yeah.
I don't ever have that moment in time to do so. So go check him out, see some cool ball pythons, because everybody wants to see cool ball pythons. Duh.
Dude, shout out to Jake too. He produced some Orange Dream Pie stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yes. Jake from Snake Farm.
Yeah, Jake from Snake Farm. Jake, we used to work with up at Nerd. He produced some Orange Dream pied stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah, for first clutch of ball
pythons for him.
Like sends me a picture of this ODYB pied, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, bro. That's cool. I'm jelly.
And then let's see, Dominic DeFalco hatched out those Axanthic pieds.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Super hyped. That's cool. I'm trying to think. Ryan Young, Molecular Reptiles, hatched out. Lesser Sundus, the
Oh yes,
Temur
Timors. Yeah,
pythons,
yeah, yeah. Yep.
hyped, awesome. Lisa
Absolutely.
Farina hatched out white lip pythons. I think they're the black face white lip pythons.
Rick
Rick
Carmine.
Crumine hatched out white lip
Insane.
pythons. He also hatched out blackheads and
Yeah.
20, 30 other things, like
Yep.
just ridiculous.
Some
I'm super hyped to
silliness.
have him on. Shout out to Eric. Oh no, Owen McIntyre from
Oh yes.
NPR.
Yes.
He produced White Lips, bro. I'm so hyped for you.
Awesome.
Passion project year.
Hell yeah. And shout out to Eric too, because we love Eric.
Yeah, I love Eric too. Yeah, I don't think Eric read anything this year, but he's still cool.
Lazy bum.
No. He's doing all the podcast stuff,
Yeah.
dude.
No,
Like,
he is. Yeah, he's crushing it.
Yeah.
He's crushing it, man.
Dude, it's just been super cool to see all these people hitting all these projects that they are, have been long-term projects for them.
Yes.
I love seeing that. I love seeing that. And then I already shouted out Stephen Cush, produced this Barneck Scrubs, super hype for him.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who else hatched out some.
Really Ryan hatched out Sri Lankan pythons.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that. That was awesome.
Yep. Hell yeah. Shout out to Aubrey,
dude,
for some of those ticks. Yeah.
Pecans.
So the pecan head ocelot.
Okay, everyone, if you're listening to this, it doesn't matter when, pause and go to Google, search Super Pecan Emeraldo reticulated python, because it is the coolest reticulated python morph.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to be like, but ocelots, and Aubrey has ocelots too, okay?
Yeah.
They're cool. But super pecans just tickle a little spot in my brain. That's really nice.
Super
and so you
ocelots.
should, yeah. Well, he made the double heads, bro.
I know.
So, but yeah, Super Pecan Emeraldo. So Aubrey produced some pecans this year. I think it's the first time in the U.S. pecans have been hatched out.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, super hyped, super proud of him. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, and he did the caramel ocelots. He just had some orange glow
ocelots, first time ever.
Yep, and I mean, he's just got some insane retics. I went to his place a couple weeks ago, and just holy crap, like some amazing retics. The future for retic morphs is very
Aubrey.
strong with Aubrey. That's for sure. There's just a lot of people this year have really like crushed it on those passion projects. I mean, Aubrey trying to get that pecan female to breed, he said, took so many years because it was an imported animal, from the wild. So to get that established and not wanting to kill him, getting that to breed and all that, that's not an easy task. We think about breeding retics nowadays as being a fairly simple task. But if you have been around long enough to work with imported animals, it's not that easy. So kudos to Aubrey and just everybody that's been crushing passion projects this year. It really has been the year of passion projects all the way around.
Yeah.
So kudos.
Yeah. And then Keith McPeak produced some emerald tree boas.
Yes.
I think he only got 1 or 2 live babies, but that stuff
Still
happens, especially with boas. It's so tough that there's nothing you can do if something starts to go wrong inside. There's nothing you can do to change it or fix it. Like with the scrub eggs, she left him for a little while, and I was like, I'm gonna take over now.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I can do this, so I did it. But with boas, there's nothing you can really do. So it's like, it is what it is.
Heck yeah.
So, but yeah, this year has been huge for people's passion projects, me included, and I'm hyped about it. I just love when I see people who are producing stuff that they have been wanting to reproduce for a really long time. That just like really gets me in here, and I love seeing that, and I love hyping people up when they're being successful, and I just love to see it.
Hell yeah. All right, Rob.
So Jeremy, when it comes to in the realm of reptiles, what is something that's got you hyped right now besides this Herb Society meeting tomorrow?
Damn it.
Besides that,
but it's just that. No. Man, there's actually quite a bit.
I know,
but like there really is quite a bit that has me kind of geeked. Damn. Okay, so this is a little selfish on my part here, but thanks to Animal Con, I've been able to establish some really great friendships and networks with some cool people from out of the country. Australia and the Philippines and stuff like that. And I've just been talking with those people about how they keep their animals and some of the stuff that they do overseas, and just hearing how that differs from what we do here in the US.
Yeah.
That has me excited because it's we talk about it here all the time. Like there's more than one way to skin a cat, as horrible as that saying is. There's more than one way to keep your reptiles, and what we have available to us here in the US is not what some people have in Australia. It's not what some people have in the Philippines. We all, I think, come to very similar understandings, but how we get to those points are oftentimes notably different.
Yeah.
So hearing that perspective has been really interesting to me. So that's one of the things that has me super excited.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
What about you, Rob?
Scrub babies. I
should have said except scrub babies.
Yeah, you should have, because scrub baby, like my scrub babies, and then Stephen Cush's scrub babies. And then also I think Iris is potentially producing some Highland scrubs.
Hell yeah.
So captive bred Highland scrubs would be huge.
Hell yeah.
Huge. So scrub babies is definitely got me hyped. I mean, aside from that, just all the people who are doing passion projects, man, just seeing all these people crushing it on these things that they've been working on, and putting in the blood, sweat, and tears into getting to that point. When I heard that Owen had produced those white-lip pythons, I was just like, yes, dude. Like I feel.
Yeah, he's been working so long to get that.
Yeah, he's been talking about it the entire time that he's been on NPR.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And I listen to NPR all the time. So just that's been awesome. And then just listen to some of the other people just really hitting those things that they've been trying to do, and then being able to do that myself. That just has been it for me, and just getting to hold the pile of baby scrub pythons and seeing their heads poking out of the eggs. I took so many pictures, and
yeah,
that just is really huge. Oh, also, if you're listening, this is not, I did not warn Jeremy that I'm going to talk about this. But NPR is doing a calendar contest. And if you keep Morelia or scrubs or any of that sort of stuff, you can't take pictures inside of the enclosures. You got to take them outside and make it look nice. But I think the submissions run until October 7th of this year. So you got a couple more weeks to potentially get in a picture. I posted a picture of baby scrubs coming out of the eggs. So I was like, you should do it.
I should post that picture.
You should. There's different categories. There's more. There's jungles, coastals, all the. Look it up. I don't know everything. It's on their Morelia Pick of the Week page on Facebook. It's a pinned post, so you can go up there. I would love to see more people enter. Terry Burwell posted some awesome old world rat snake pictures. He posted some of the Boiga Synodon, and I am in love with those things.
Yes.
And dude, the picture that he posted of the rhino rats, coolest picture hand down.
Heck yeah.
Coolest picture hand down that's been posted in there.
Heck yeah.
And then there's a really nice Owen Peli. I'll probably get to lose to the Owen Peli picture, but that's okay. That picture is awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of pictures.
Yes.
Shout out to Nick Mutton and Justin Julian for getting the new carpet python book done.
Hell yeah. We got a little sneak peek of it at Daytona.
And I have a picture in there.
Yeah, hey.
The Ocelot jungle carpet. I've got a picture of one of my snakes in there. So
hell yeah. That's awesome. Immortalized.
Cool. Immortalized
in text.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. All right, Rob, if people want to find out more about you and stalk your life, where can they go?
Check out on Instagram at Rob is Creeping It Real. On my stories, I post field herping stuff constantly. So if you want to see what I'm looking at and finding and stuff on my stories, on my page, I've been trying to I post a lot of pictures of scrubs recently, so I need to calm it down with the scrubs, because I got 100 people messaging me. So are you gonna sell any of those? And I'm like, no, I'm not selling them. But yeah, on Instagram, Rob's Creeping It Real. I think on Morph Market is Rob's Creeping It Real too, or Creeping It Real with Rob. I try and keep it all uniform to Rob's Creeping It Real. On TikTok, Rob is Creeping It Real. Don't add me on Facebook, because don't do that. And Jeremy, so if people want to find out more about you and the things you got going on, where are they going to look?
They can literally go everywhere. Just Brassman Reptiles. Because I'm on social media way too much. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Not that.
Just kidding.
Not that. Morph Market, Twitter, Brassman Reptiles. Yeah, you can find me all at those places.
Hell yeah. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys all soon again.
Yes.
We're lining up some stuff. We're going to have Trace Harden on talking about maternal incubation and a couple other people we got lined up. So we got some cool stuff in the pipeline.
Oh yeah, and whether Rob shows up or not, there's going to
Tinley.
be a live from Tinley. So yeah, so we'll see you guys very soon.
Hell yeah, later.